If I apply for my brother or sister, can they stay here the entire time while waiting for their green card? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. Most people know that U.S. citizens have the ability to sponsor their parents, their children, and their spouses for green cards. They also have the ability to sponsor their brothers or sisters. Now, here's the thing. Depending on what country you are from, the wait time for a green card for a brother or sister can be anywhere from 14, 15 years to 20 years or even more than 20 years. People from Mexico, it's an over 20-year wait for a immigrant visa or green card for your brother or sister. This is obviously absolutely ridiculous. This is something that Congress really needs to fix, but they haven't taken any action on this. And in fact, whenever comprehensive immigration reform starts getting discussed, one of the things on the table to take away is the ability of U.S. citizens to sponsor their brothers or sisters. This is something that Republicans and Donald Trump and those people that don't love immigrants call chain migration, where you're bringing family members. They don't really like that. They want people to not have the ability to sponsor their brothers or sisters to reunify in the United States or to get immigration status for those brothers or sisters. So I don't think there's going to be anything moving on this front anytime soon. I don't think that people are going to be able to expect that this is going to speed up in the near future. So what does this mean? Well, here's what you need to understand. Federal immigration law makes a special classification for the parents of U.S. citizens, the spouses of U.S. citizens, and the children under age 21 of U.S. citizens. So all of those three categories of people are called immediate relatives. And what that means is that Congress has not put a cap on the number of green cards or immigrant visas that are available for immediate relatives. In other words, while it does take a long time to get USCIS and or the State Department or both to work on an immigration case, there's not a backlog. There's no congressional prohibition, no rule that says that they can't give out more visas. There are limits on the number of visas that are available for brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens. And whenever you have a cap or limits, you're going to have a backlog. So quite literally right now, they're working on cases that were filed 15 years ago for the brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens. So people often ask, if I file for my brother or sister, can they just come to the United States and hang out the whole time that that case is pending? And the answer to that question is no. Because they're not immediate relatives, they would not be able to adjust their status later on. They would just be setting themselves up for a big immigration mess if they were to come while the 15 or 14-year wait was going on. In other words, they don't get any status inside the United States. They don't get any ability to stay in the United States while the application that was filed by the U.S. citizen brother or sister is pending. So they're not treated like parents. They're not treated like spouses, and they're not treated like underage children. That's the thing you have to understand, is there's a very clear distinction between immediate relatives and non-immediate relatives. That is, all the other preference categories that are out there, including the spouses of lawful permanent residents, the children of lawful permanent residents, the adult children of lawful permanent residents, and groups like that, they're not eligible to be treated as immediate relatives, and that means that they have to stay in status all the way through the immigration process. In other words, on the day that they adjust, they have to still be in status. That's the best way to think about it. So if you have filed for your brother or sister, I commend you. That is true optimism to think that you're going to be around and that they're going to be around 14, 15 years from now. If you have a case that you filed 12, 13, 14 years ago, and now it's time to start processing, those are actually really fun cases to work on. We probably handle 5 or 6 of those a year. And I love it because somebody had the foresight and the knowledge and the wisdom to say, yeah, I know it's a long time for my brother or sister to come, but they still went ahead and did it. And then we get to help work on the immigrant visa application, or in theory, the adjustment of status if the person were here on some valid status. But that's very, very rare. So if you're looking for our help in filing, if you are a true optimist and you think that 15 years from now, your brother or sister might want to come to the United States, and I absolutely encourage you to file an I-130, and we would love to work on that with you. You can get our help by calling 314-961-8200. You can email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Now, if you're just looking for free information, you can come on my Immigration Answer Show and ask me questions about this or any other topic that you want. That's in our Facebook group, which is called Immigrant Home. We'd love to have you join the Facebook group, or on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it, Hacking Immigration Law. And that way you'll get alerted whenever I go live on the Immigration Answers Show. and we can talk about this issue or any other immigration-related issue that you want to discuss. Thanks so much, and have a great day.